Welcome to another episode of Pirkei Avot. We're about to start Mishna 20 in the 4th chapter, and we dedicate this episode in memory of Levy ben Moshe ben Esther and Elisheva ben Levy, and also Yehuda ben Moshe ben Esther, my father, but also in memory of Rosie bat Moshe ben Esther. Okay, and here's Mike.
Thank you very much, Mashiach. So in this Mishnah, we are introduced to Rab Mattia ben Cheresh, also known as Rab Mattia ben Cheresh. This sage was a Tana of the mid-2nd century CE, born in Judea, and apparently a disciple of Rab Eliezer ben Hukanas, Rab Elazar ben Azariah, and Rabbi Yishmael, whose pupils Rabbi Yosia and Rabbi Yonatan were Rabbi Mattia's friends. Sometime after he was ordained, he left his native land, seemingly after the defeat of the Bar Kokhba at Betar, when the decrees of Hadrian became more harsh and hostile than ever. Rab Mattia made his way into Rome, where he founded a Torah school and a Bet Din, which attained considerable prominence. One medieval authority writes that his was the greatest Bet Din of its time. Yet, perhaps because he lived so far from the centers of organized study, not many rulings and teachings of his have been recorded in the Mishnah. He is quoted more frequently in the Gemara. The Midrash describes him as wealthy, reverent of Hashem, and engaged in Torah study all his days. Once, continues the Midrash, the Satan tempted him so powerfully to carnal sin that in ultimate defense he blinded himself. He recovered by a cure that was miraculous, and for the rest of his days remained a proof against all temptation. So what does his Mishnah say, which is Mishnah number 20, Perek 4? Rabbi Mattia ben Chorosh Omer, Have makdim b'shalom kol odom. Take the initiative in greeting any man you meet. Have zanav le'orayos al tehi rosh l'shu'alim, and be a tail to lions and not a head to foxes. So Rav Mattia brings a beautiful concept that was also mentioned by Rambam in Hilchot Deot, where you are to take the initiative in greeting a man or friend in the street. Now, why is this a beautiful concept? Because people have egos, and some people, they notice you approaching them or coming towards them, and they'll stand aloof, aware of your presence, but their ego will tell them, don't say hello to them, let them say hello to you first before responding to them like they're the greater person. But and unfortunately this is a weakness of ego, because it's actually the one who greets first is actually the better person, because he's not subject to his ego. And it's a very beautiful thing when you, especially if you're actually, if you're on a kind of, not on a high level, but if you are in any way kind of in some way superior to the person, it's a great honor to greet someone who's slightly inferior to you first, because it gives them honor, and it's a very beautiful concept. It's a very beautiful idea. So what does Rambam say about this concept? He said that a man's being a student to someone who is wiser than he is better and more fit than being a teacher to someone lesser than he, as in the first situation he will gain, and in the second situation he will decrease. And you should understand it from that which we elucidated in Sanhedrin, that they placed the head of an academy of 23 scholars at the back of a great academy of 71, because of the principle that, and I quote, we bring up in holiness and we do not bring down, as they saw that they raised his rank with this. So what Rambam is saying is that, the greater will raise the lower through the simple actions of honoring someone who is not as great as you. It gives them a great honor, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's, it's especially so, it's also applied to the non-Jew as well as the Jew. This we learn the Mishna and Tosefta rule that even a heathen is to be greeted for the sake of promoting peace. This we learn in Mishnah Gittin and Tosefta and Avodah Zarah. In the Talmud we read of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai that no one ever greeted him first, not even a heathen in the marketplace. He always said good morning first.
It's amazing actually, because there's a short anecdote about Rabbi Yochanan. He was absolutely famous for this. He would always manage to greet somebody first. Nobody ever outsmarted him, except on one occasion when a person actually made a point of being Makdim Shalom. He wanted to sneak up on Rabbi Yochanan and greet him first. So he went behind, like like that, sneak up behind him, tippy-toeing, and he was about to get away with it when a miracle occurred. There was a noise happened, and Rabbi Yochanan whirled around and was like, "Oh, Shalom Aleichem," and the guy's like, "I missed out on it," because he had Siyata D'Shmaya. He made the resolution to always be Makdim Shalom, and that's why heaven helped him so that he would keep his records. And of course, when you're Makdim Shalom, you create a great Kiddush Hashem. There's a story about Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky that there was a mother superior, like a nun, head of the nuns, was approached somebody in Muncie and said to them, I don't see any Jews coming and say hello to us. They always walk across the road, right? Except there's one old rabbi who would always come and say hello to us. And that person she was talking about was actually Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. So, it's got nothing to do with the value or the status of the person you're saying hello to. The fact is, you're promoting Hashem in this world. You're showing that a God-fearing person is non-judgmental, and he will always offer the sort of olive branch of peace to anybody that he meets. It's very important. You live in a place like Edgware, and I can't speak highly enough of the Jewish community in Edgware, but I'll say this, that you'd be very hard-pressed to walk down any street in Edgware on Shabbat or Yom Tov and not have a Jew go past you and say Shabbat Shalom or Chag Sameach. Very, very rare. And people are absolutely... And if you grow up in an area like Edgware and you go somewhere else, I don't know where, and you don't see this, it'll be shocking to you, because it's in your DNA to always to say Shalom, Shabbat Shalom or Chag Sameach. But you pass a fellow Jew in the street, you should acknowledge him. At least nod your head or do something. It's sometimes you wake up and maybe you're walking to shul and you just don't feel like it. But you know what? Dafka in those moments, make the effort, because that's where you're going to get your reward. So
yeah, very true. And it's a kal v'chomer here.
Yeah.
If with your friend, you should take special care, even more so with your enemy or someone you don't get along with. What better way can you find to break down the barriers of kind of enmity or any misunderstandings with somebody than when you give them the honor of greeting them first?
Yeah.
There is nothing as potent as a human, like a smile of a human face, and that to kind of melt these sort of walls of enmity.
I mean, if you think about it, how many arguments, how much bad feeling has been or could be averted by just saying hello, and like the guy's like, "What?
Yeah,
he said hello to me."
Yeah,
and it sort of really
dissipates it.
Yes,
yeah, because a lot of broiguses people have, it's because it's pent up, it's built up, and people fester in their head about certain situations. But if something can break these kind of the dam of all this bad energy, it's a simple hello first, giving a bit of respect and showing that you're willing to make peace or to be a nice person to them. And sometimes that can tear down the walls that have built up over time.
It's like that analogy. Somebody says, he says, "Oh, I need to borrow a lawnmower. Let me ask my neighbour." And then he says, "No, I'm not going to ask him because he won't give it to me. And when he won't give it to me, I know he's not going to give it to me because he doesn't like me. And he doesn't like me because I'm this." And then he puts the whole thing in his mind. And in the end,
you chuck something over him.
you come to some stupid.
Yeah.
But in the end, what will happen? You'll say, "You know what? I'm going to ask him anyway." Because of course you can.
Yeah. You built up that whole thing in your head.
Yeah, it's dimmy or not from the Yetzer Hara.
Yeah.
Anyway,
these simple actions are so powerful. Nothing costs less and pay more. But let's look at the Hebrew text. The word it uses is shalom, which usually means a kind of greeting or a kind of inquiry about a person's well-being. But if you take it literally to mean peace, and also use the verb makdim to denote giving priority, this text could mean give priority to the welfare of everyone, of all people. You know, how often in your life are there conflicts between your interest and other interest, of personal, between one or two people, or the community as a whole? Rabbi Matia ben Cheresh gives you very good counsel. Put shalom, the peace and welfare of the people, first in your reckoning. Your first consideration to the greatest happiness, to the greatest number. Accommodate all your interests in the welfare of the community, and you will not regret it. And what does he say about and to be a tail to lions and not a head to foxes? It's a fantastic saying. It's telling you which sides to be on. It's better to be a tail of a lion with a proud animal, a proud concept from the animal, rather than a head of a fox. We note that Rava, you would occasionally refer to a gifted colleague as the lion of the group. So to be
alpha male.
To be part of a lion's pride, it denotes that you are of a certain quality. The fox, on the other hand, symbolises cunning, scheming, slyness, and treachery.
Of course, the Jewish people are compared to the lion.
Yeah, so you mustn't seek to live by the qualities of the fox. You must look towards a lion for inspiration. And also, you should join the wise and the scholarly in whatever capacity. It doesn't matter if you're the tail of a lion. As long as you're part of the lion, you will increase your quality of life and your learning and improve your sense of values. Don't become a head of a fox. Be the tail of a lion. It makes very, very good sense.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. Next time we convene, we're going to do Mishna 21, which is Rabbi Yaakov. So until then, we wish you a wonderful and blessed week.